Gabriel Cromer, sophomore, Division III, sprinter, St. John Fisher University. 2 records, 1 day. Nobody does this. Most people outside of Rochester, New York have never heard the name Gabriel Cromer. He is not a household name. He does not have a shoe deal. He does not have millions of followers watching his every race. He is a sophomore sprinter at St. John Fisher University, a small, Division III school in Pittsford, New York, competing against other college athletes on a regular Saturday afternoon meet. But here is what makes this story different. Small school or not, what Cromer did on April 12, 2026, at the Bucknell Bison Outdoor Classic is the kind of thing that coaches spend entire careers hoping to witness. Setting 1 school record in a season is special. Setting 2 school records in the same event session, the 100 meters and the 200 meters, on the same day as a sophomore is something else entirely. This is the story of how Gabriel Cromer did exactly that. To understand what Cromer accomplished, you have to understand the program he represents. St. John Fisher University is a small Catholic university in Pittsford, New York. Their athletics program competes in Division III under the NCAA and is a member of the Empire 8 Athletic Conference. Division III athletes receive no athletic scholarships. They compete purely for the love of the sport. That detail matters. Every single athlete on St. John Fisher track and field roster is there because they chose to be. No scholarship money, no big-name recruiting pipeline, just athletes who love to compete. And in that environment, setting a school record is not just a personal achievement. It is a statement to everyone who came before you, every athlete in Fisher history who ever laced up spikes and gave everything they had on that track. Cromer is a sprinter. His primary events are the 100 meters and the 200 meters, the 2 fastest, most explosive races in all of track and field. For a sprinter, these events are about tenths and hundredths of seconds. A fraction of time separates a good performance from a great one. A fraction separates a great performance from a record. On April 12th, Cromer did not just find that fraction. He rewrote history twice. The Bucknell Bison Outdoor Classic is a college track meet. It draws athletes from multiple schools across different competition levels. St. John Fisher men's track and field team, it was one of 2 meets they competed in that weekend. Their athletes split across 2 different venues, some at Bucknell on Saturday, others at the SUNY Brockport Invitational on Sunday. Cromer was at Bucknell. He lined up for the 100 meters first. When he crossed the finish line, the clock read 10.73 seconds, a new St. John Fisher school record. His 6th place finish in the field does not tell the full story. What matters is that no Cardinal sprinter in the history of the university had ever run the 100 meters faster than Gabriel Cromer did on that afternoon. He was not done. Later in the session, Cromer stepped to the line again for the 200 meters. The 200 is a different beast from the 100. You come out of the curve, you hit the straightaway, and your legs are already burning from the first half of the race. Mental toughness matters as much as physical speed. You have to keep pushing when your body is telling you to slow down. Cromer pushed. He crossed the line at 21.85 seconds, another new Fisher school record in the 200 meters. He finished 16th in the field. 2 events, 2 records, 1 afternoon. Breaking 1 school record in a season is a big deal at any level of collegiate athletics. Coaches celebrate those moments, programs highlight them in press releases, athletes remember them for the rest of their lives. When a program's record books get updated, it is because an athlete reached a new ceiling, a ceiling that might stand for years before anyone comes close again. What Cromer did was break the ceiling twice in a single session, and he did it as a sophomore, meaning he has at least 2 more years of development left in his college career. His body is still adapting, his technique is still being refined, his race instinct is still growing. The records he set at Bucknell were not the peak of what Gabriel Cromer is capable of. They were the floor. Consider this. The 100 meters and 200 meters require overlapping but distinct physical qualities. The 100 is pure explosion, reaction time out of the blocks, drive phase, top-end speed. The 200 adds speed endurance into that equation. You need everything the 100 requires, plus the ability to sustain that output around a curve and down a full straight. Athletes who excel at both distances simultaneously are rare. Sprinters who break records at both distances on the same day are rarer still. While Cromer's double record performance was the headline from the weekend, St. John Fisher men's track and field program showed depth across both meets. At Bucknell, junior Jace Stewart placed 4th in the unseeded 1500-meter run with a time of 3 minutes, 56.84 seconds. That time ranks 2nd on the Cardinals' all-time top 5 list for the event and qualified him for regional competition. Also at Bucknell, sophomore Landon Wirtz set a personal record in the 800 meters with a time of 1 minute 57.89 seconds, the fifth fastest 800-meter time in St. John Fisher program history. Senior Brandon Kaplan placed sixth in the hammer throw with a season-best mark of 59.26 meters, the eighth-best throw in all of Division III this season. At the SUNY Brockport Invitational on Sunday, junior Hayden Penna placed third in the pole vault at 4.65 meters. Senior Bryant DePaul finished second in the high jump at 1.83 meters. Sophomore Daniel Davis placed second in the discus throw with a toss of 42.74 meters. This was not just one athlete having a great weekend. This was an entire program performing at a high level across 2 meets and multiple disciplines. Cromer's records gave the team its biggest headline, but the weekend showed that Fisher's men's track and field program is loaded with athletes capable of competing and finishing near the top of their events. Gabriel Cromer's records will stand in the Fisher record books until someone comes along and beats them. Given that Cromer himself set both records as a sophomore, the most likely person to beat them is Gabriel Cromer. He has at least 2 full outdoor seasons remaining at St. John Fisher. His body will get stronger, his starts will get sharper. His feel for the 200, that curve, that straightaway, that burn in the legs will only deepen with experience. The 10.73 in the 100 and the 21.85 in the 200 are his to chase. The St. John Fisher men's track and field team will compete next at the Cortland Outdoor Meet. Cromer will be there. And if April 12th told us anything, it is that when Gabriel Cromer steps onto a track, the record books should be paying attention. On April 12th, 2026, at the Bucknell Bison Outdoor Classic, Gabriel Cromer, a sophomore sprinter at St. John Fisher University, set school records in both the 100 meters and the 200 meters on the same day. He ran 10.73 seconds in the 100 and 21.85 seconds in the 200. 2 records, 1 session, 1 sophomore who is only getting started. Division III does not get the spotlight that Division I does. The cameras are smaller, the crowds are quieter, the headlines are fewer. But records are records, and the effort it takes to break one, let alone 2 on the same day, is the same no matter what division you play in. Gabriel Cromer showed up on a Saturday afternoon in April and rewrote St. John Fisher history twice before the sun went down. That is not something most athletes accomplish in an entire career. He did it before his junior year. The question is no longer how he did it. The question is what he does next. Athletes like Cromer are the reason people fall in love with track and field. There is no team to hide behind, no timeouts, no substitutions. When the gun fires, it is just you, the track, and the clock. Every hundredth of a second is earned in practice, in patience, in repetition, and in the willingness to push past the point where most people stop. Cromer did all of that on April 12th, not once, but twice. And he did it without a scholarship, without a spotlight, and without anything to prove except to himself and his teammates. That is what makes this story worth telling.